Hi everyone, my name is Annemarie Ní Churreáin. I'm a poet and writer, and I'm really delighted to be reading from this new book titled Curriculum, which was recently launched by Intellect Books. It's the brainchild of founder, director of art school Jennie, who is also the editor. And the book contains a series of essays by artists who are reflecting on their experiences of going into schools and working in educational settings. There's also a lovely foreword by Jared Byrne, and it's just a really thoughtful collection, very well crafted, and it should belong in every library and in every school. So to celebrate Culture Night and to celebrate the launch of the book, I'm going to read a little excerpt from my own essay in the book titled Art, the Body and Time Perspectives in the Classroom. It's an essay in which I reflect upon my own experiences as a poet going into secondary and national schools. And it's an essay in which I also talk about the work of four artists, Ella de Burca and John Beattie, working together on a collaboration, also Jane Fogarty and Vanessa Donoso Lopez. So I'll read a little excerpt and you'll get a flavour of what to expect in the book. Curriculum, a word with Latin roots, means first of all to race or during the course of a race, and derives from the verb curere, meaning to run or proceed. As a poet who is sometimes invited to visit primary and secondary schools, I try to convey to students that competition, success, the clock's hand are not contrary to the language and landscape of art. Yes, my poems are primarily rooted in memory, orientated by what Milan Kundera described as the secret bond between slowness and remembering. But in actuality, the ethic powering my practice is largely future-focused. Out of this push and pull comes metaphor, musicality, meaning. Art happens anyway, despite and often because of constraint, and mostly my life as a writer is premised on daily experiences of time that wider society misconstrues as the enemy of art. Practice is born more often out of labour than it is of freedom. Do not be an artist because you want to be free, said educator and artist Noel Sheridan. You are already free. When you start to be an artist, you enter a discipline. In an assessment of how the digital revolution has altered time perspectives, psychologist Philip Zimbardo argues there now exists a growing conflict in mainstream schools between increasingly present-orientated minds with a need to control and navigate space, and an outmoded, largely future-orientated system that promotes passivity and delay of gratification. Certainly in my own school workshops, the present moment is hotly contested. It is the teacher's job, I think, to propel the student forward across the present moment line as quickly as possible. It's often the student's desire to secure sole influence over the present moment. Within this scenario, the artist's task is to assist students to reorder time, to stop slow, still speed and connect with a time perspective authentic to one's own understanding of time. But despite these dynamics, the school classroom does seem to me to be a better place than many others for writing poetry or engaging students in creative work. Making art is, after all, a somewhat unwieldy process by which, against the odds, more than two things are always happening at once. In a poem, words invoke past, but also move the poem's body forward. Lines are broken to separate, but also to conjoin. Breadth connects and separates. Art is both a making of and a giving in to mystery. We invent and we concede, at once losing and finding, with the hope that out of this strain an unexpected thing will reveal itself. Conflict seems not only unavoidable, but perhaps essential to the whole endeavour and craft. One might say that at the heart of art school, the student body is engaged in a type of reconfiguration or disruption of time perspectives. Every word, Heinrich Böll said, has a great burden of memories, not only just of one person, but of all mankind. In opening up a conversation with my students, I ordinarily begin by asking them to consider the currency of individual words. The idea that every word, no matter how ordinary or everyday, is haunted by histories that are unknowable to us. Even words lightly spoken, like desk, door, chalk, carry an electricity that at times may be witnessed by the poet, or felt but never fully understood. It's always a rich challenge to draw students' attention towards this past life burden, while at the same time encouraging them to look forward into the future that the poem aspires to. In thinking about creative practice, the body and time perspectives in the classroom, I'm compelled to ask certain questions. What does it mean to cultivate creativity and autonomy within a highly controlled environment? How is school time experienced inside the workshop? Is it part of my job as arts facilitator to help students unlearn, if even for a moment, future-focused time perspectives? And if so, why? So I'd really urge you to support this new book. Art School does amazing work, and this is a very special collection of essays. Congratulations to everyone who composed text for the book, and to Jennie in particular, who edited, and you can find all of the details on intellectbooks.com. That's it from me. Slán.